In the glittering skyline of Lagos, where towers touched the clouds and streets shimmered with expensive cars, lived a woman named Nadira. She was married to Khalid Bayo, one of the most powerful businessmen in the country, a man whose empire stretched across cities, but whose heart was cold as marble. Nadira's world was made of diamonds, silk curtains, and golden plates, yet her heart felt like a locked cage. Every morning, she would sit by the tall glass window, looking down at the city streets where barefoot children ran, vendors laughed, and people hugged without fear. She had everything money could buy, but the one thing she craved most, love, was missing. Khalid was not a cruel man, but he was detached. His world revolved around meetings, profits, and reputation. He spoke in numbers, not feelings. When Nadira tried to share her dreams, he only nodded absently, eyes still glued to his phone. He thought buying her jewelry was love, that gifting her cars could replace time. But she wanted something that couldn't be bought: connection, warmth, truth. One hot afternoon, as she returned from a charity gala, her luxury car broke down near a small village outside the city. The driver went to fetch help, leaving her waiting by the roadside. That as when she met Tund, a young mechanic with grease-stained hands and the gentlest eyes she had ever seen. He fixed her car quickly, refusing any money. "Kindness doesn't cost anything, ma'am," he said with a smile. That sentence hit her heart like lightning. Nobody had spoken to her that way in years, not as Madame Bayo, but as a human being. That night, Nadira couldn't sleep. Tund's words echoed in her mind. The next day, she returned to the village with donations, but deep down, she just wanted to see him again. Over the next few weeks, she found reasons to visit, helping poor families, bringing books for children, and every time Tund would be there, always smiling, always real. He spoke differently, about sunsets, about hope, about his late mother who taught him that true riches come from gratitude. Nadira found herself drawn to his simplicity. For the first time in years, she laughed, not out of politeness but joy. When he told her, "You look lonely even in gold," her heart broke quietly. He saw through the glitter into her emptiness. Days turned into months. Nadira started spending less time at the mansion and more time at the village. She helped Tund teach poor children how to read. He helped her fix broken things, not just machines but her spirit. Slowly, the woman who once feared dirt began to walk barefoot on the muddy ground, smiling at strangers. Then came the day when Khalid found out. One of his guards reported that his wife was seen with a mechanic, sitting under a tree laughing like a commoner. The rage that filled him was uncontrollable. That night, he confronted her. "You're my wife, Nadira. Do you know how this looks?" She looked him in the eye for the first time in years, like a woman remembering what love feels like. His pride shattered. He tried to lock her away, to remind her of what she had: gold, cars, a name that everyone respected. But she felt nothing for any of it anymore. "Khalid," she whispered, "you gave me the world, but you took away my soul." One rainy morning, Nadira stood by the mansion gates, holding a small suitcase. She had made her choice. Khalid followed her, shouting, "If you walk out, you'll lose everything." She turned, her voice calm but strong. "Then I'll finally have something worth keeping." And she walked into the storm. Cameras flashed, the media roared. The billionaire's wife who abandoned wealth for a mechanic. Nadira found shelter in Tund's small home. The roof leaked, the floor creaked, but the warmth there could melt the coldest heart. Life was not easy. She washed clothes, cooked her own food, and worked beside Tund in his small repair shop. Her hands that once wore diamond rings now had oil stains, but her smile never faded. She felt alive. Tund never treated her like a fallen queen. He treated her like his equal. They talked for hours under the stars, about dreams, about pain, about purpose. I don't need your past, Tund said softly. I just want your truth. And for the first time, she gave it freely. Months passed. The city forgot her scandal, but the village remembered her kindness. She started a small charity with Tund, fixing vehicles for free, feeding poor children, building hope brick by brick. People began to say, the woman who lost luxury found something greater, and they were right. But one day, Khalid appeared again, older, broken, his empire collapsing from greed and loneliness. He found her at the workshop, hands dirty, laughter bright. You gave up everything, he said bitterly. Nadira looked at him, eyes full of peace. No, Khalid, I gave up nothing. I gained what you never understood, love. Khalid bowed his head, whispering, You were always the richest of us all. Then he walked away into the dusk, leaving behind the ghost of the man he once was. Years passed. Nadira and Tund grew old together, their love aging like fine wine, humble, strong, unbreakable. They built a school, planted trees, and turned their small home into a haven for the lost. Children from the city came to hear their story, of the woman who traded luxury for laughter, and of the mechanic who showed her that peace cannot be bought. On quiet evenings, they would sit beneath the same tree where they first met. Tund would hold her hand and say, You chose poverty. She would smile and answer, No, I chose love. The rest was just noise. And when the wind blew softly through the village, people said they could still hear her laughter. Gentle, free, eternal, a sound that once belonged to a woman who had everything until she found what truly mattered. Sometimes, walking away from gold means walking toward your truth. True love doesn't need mansions. It just needs hearts brave enough to choose it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Folktales Official for more inspiring stories. See you in the next tale. Bye!